Politics over Operation Sindoor snowballs.
At the start of the operation, we had sent a message to Pakistan saying we are striking at terrorist infrastructure. They chose not to take that good advice.
Jaishankar's remarks draw Congress's ire. Rahul's three-pointed questions at Jaishankar.
पाकिस्तान की जुगलबंदी करना बंद करो। पाकिस्तान वहां से सबूत मांगेगा, आप यहां से सवाल करोगे। ये सवाल और सबूत की जुगलबंदी आपकी बहुत पुरानी हो गई।
BJP claims Rahul parroting Pakistan. Raga fact-checked by Ministry of External Affairs. No end to Rahul versus Jaishankar face-off.
Good evening. You're watching NewsTrack here on India Today. I'm Akshata Nandagopal. As we just showed you, our top focus here is going to be the big war of words over India's foreign policy, our handling of the India-Pakistan tensions. And there's a war of words playing out between Rahul Gandhi and the government, where he's targeting essentially External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. But on popular demand, we're bringing back Rajdeep Sardesai and Gaurav Sawant on NewsTrack. So they're going to be decoding what they think of this political war of words. First, take a look at exactly what transpired. Rahul Gandhi, for the last many days, has been asking pointed questions of the External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar. More details in this report first.
The political fireworks between Modi government and the Congress party over Operation Sindoor continue to explode. One of the big flashpoints continues to be between External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Rahul Gandhi. In a fresh escalation, the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha hit out at the minister, posing three questions. Why has India been hyphenated with Pakistan? Why did not a single country back us in condemning Pakistan? Who asked Trump to mediate between India and Pakistan? The BJP, which has been accusing Rahul Gandhi of pushing Pakistan's propaganda, responded by reminding the Congress of a 1991 pact with Pakistan that states that the two countries will exchange information about any attack or army movement.
ये 1991 का डॉक्यूमेंट है कि 1947 से पाकिस्तान को हम आतंकी राष्ट्र मानते हैं। उसके बाद जो आप कंसेशन देते रहे, 1950 में नेहरू लियाकत समझौता हो, 1960 का सिंधु जल समझौता हुआ, 1975 का शिमला एग्रीमेंट हुआ, और उसके बाद 1991 में आपने तो हाथ काट के लिख दिया कि हमारी आर्मी कहां डिप्लॉय होगी, आपकी नेवी कहां डिप्लॉय होगी, आपका एयरफोर्स कैसे फंक्शन करेगा, वो कैसे एक्सरसाइज करेगा। तो ये सारी बातें क्या देशद्रोह नहीं है? भारत सरकार को इसके ऊपर जो है देशद्रोह का मुकदमा चालू करना चाहिए।
ये शायद अप्रैल 1991 का साइन किया हुआ अग्रीमेंट है। ये अग्रीमेंट पीस टाइम का है। पीस टाइम में गलतफहमी ना हो दो देशों की सेनाओं के बीच में, थल सेना, वायुसेना, जल सेना मूवमेंट से, उसके बारे में है। सर्वप्रथम जो राहुल गांधी जी कह रहे थे वही सच है। जयशंकर जी ने इन्फॉर्म किया पाकिस्तान को और उसकी पुष्टि खुद बीजेपी कर रही है। जिस अग्रीमेंट का वो हवाला दे रही है वो पीस टाइम का अग्रीमेंट है। जयशंकर जी ने जब वॉर लाइक सिचुएशन थी तब इन्फॉर्म किया था।
Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh has made another revelation.
ये एक लेख है ब्रह्म चेलानी का, ब्रिजेज ऑफ मिसहैंडलिंग पाकिस्तान, 9 अक्टूबर 2013 का। इस लेख को दोबारा देश पढ़े। करेंट सेक्टर अपना जो है पाकिस्तान के बॉर्डर के साथ, वहां हमारे सैनिकों का आकर गर्दन काट ले गए आतंकवादी सैनिकों के साथ। उन्हीं दिनों हमारे तब के प्रधानमंत्री जी गए हुए थे अमेरिका, और उनकी बात तत्कालीन वहां के जो राष्ट्रपति थे ओबामा साहब, उनसे होनी थी। इस खबर को छुपाई गई, देश को नहीं बताया गया। अतीत में न जाइए।
देश ये जानना चाहता है कि जिन्होंने पहलगाम का वो कर्तव्य किया, माननीय कर्तव्य किया, वो कहां हैं? क्या वो पकड़े गए? उनको आप मिट्टी में मिला पाए? पाकिस्तान का इलाज श्रीमती इंदिरा गांधी ने किया था, पाकिस्तान के 2 टुकड़े कर दिए। आप तो अभी बॉर्डर तक पहुंचने भी नहीं दिया हमारी सेनाओं को आपने।
The External Affairs Minister has clarified on Donald Trump's mediation claim again. There may be a ceasefire between India and Pakistan. but shots continue to be fired between the centre and the opposition. Bureau Report, India Today.
Okay, so let's bring in India Today's double engine, Rajdeep Sardesai and Gaurav Sawant on this. Rajdeep, your view first. Rahul Gandhi asking 3 questions. Why has India been hyphenated with Pakistan? Why hasn't a single country backed us to take on Pakistan? And who asked Trump to mediate between India and Pakistan? Do you think these questions are fair?
I think question number 1 and 3 can certainly be asked. Why has India been hyphenated with Pakistan is a question that not just Rahul Gandhi is asking, various foreign policy scholars have also asked in the last couple of weeks. In the manner in which Donald Trump in particular seemingly has hyphenated India and Pakistan once again. Question number 3, who asked Trump to mediate between India and Pakistan? I know the MEA has given an answer that there is no place for Donald Trump's mediation, that the DGMOs spoke to each other ahead of the ceasefire, but as an opposition politician, again it's a question that he's perfectly entitled to ask. Question number 2, why didn't a single country back India in condemning Pakistan? I think Rahul Gandhi's got his facts wrong there. There are several countries, particularly when it comes to terror. I think the distinction needs to be made. Countries have condemned Pahalgam outright across the world. I think post-Pahalgam, what happened, Pakistan tried to neatly shift the narrative into suggesting that they in some way were the victims of an alleged false flag operation. Where is the evidence? And even went to the extent of claiming to the world that they were not the perpetrators of terror, and almost got away with it for a fortnight. And I think the jury is still out as to whether they can get away with it any further. So I don't think that question is entirely fair to ask, but all these questions should be answered, and it's been my claim that this should actually be answered if there was a special session of parliament where both the sides, the government and the opposition, had their say. To do this on Twitter, to use words like JJ, what is JJ? Is it Jaishankar? If it is, I take strong objection.
We're going to
I do not approve of this kind of language of calling someone Jaichan or Mir Jafar. These are not words. Gaddar. This lowers the entire discourse. But I have absolutely no problem if questions are asked and if they are answered, but with mutual respect and transparency. There is a lack of mutual respect, Akshita, between the government and the opposition. Not government and opposition, let me correct myself, between Narendra Modi and Rahul Gandhi. Let's not lump the entire opposition or the entire... Sorry?
2 individuals.
2 individuals. This should be a moment for a serious debate on Indian foreign policy. Not a moment to settle personal scores in the manner that I see it. It reduces the quality of the discourse and the debate.
Okay. Gaurav, your say. What do you make of Rahul Gandhi's posts? Rajdeep says first question, the third question, perfectly fair to ask those questions of the government. Do you think so too?
So anything that Donald Trump says, even the American media takes not with a pinch, but a sackful of salt. And if I may, we go with facts on India first and on India Today. Now, I want to bring you just certain aspects that the CNN, for example, has said. CNN has reported 100 false claims by Trump in the first 100 days of his presidency. 32 false claims fact-checked in a single interview. A single interview of Donald Trump by Time magazine in April 2025. From trade deficit to voter fraud, it's been fact-checked by the American media. PolitiFact reported fact-checking Donald Trump 1,078 times. 77% of what he had said was either mostly false, or pants on fire. But for some in India, what Donald Trump says is the holy grail or the gospel. I'm surprised. The Washington Post documented 30,573 false claims or misleading claims between 2017 and 2021. I'm getting you facts. So the estimated volume of Donald Trump's false claims, lies, and pants on fire in 123 days, 2,415. We still want to believe Donald Trump above our own government on intervention when our DGMO also says that Pakistan, when other people intervene, naturally there's a fight between 2 nuclear weapon states, others will be concerned. India said, fine, get the Pakistani DGMO to approach our DGMO. It's DGMO hotline. They approached us after we bombed 13 air bases and radar stations. They said, please, let's have a ceasefire. India said, fine, message accomplished. Let's
but the message first came from Donald Trump.
I mean, I just read out. I just read out Donald Trump is described.
He announced the ceasefire.
You know, the reason I was smiling, I like my friend Gaurav Sawant quoting Washington Post. Times are changing. Times are changing. Gaurav Sawant is now quoting the Washington Post.
I'm quoting American media in general. CNN, Washington Post,
Gaurav,
political fact.
I respect what you're saying about fact-checking of Donald Trump. It should be done. My point is, why isn't the MEA then doing it? We should be
but
then.
Hasn't the MEA done it?
Does it suit our purpose as a nation to fact-check Donald Trump right now when there are trade negotiations that are on?
My point is this man, whether he is a consummate liar, as he probably is the President of the United States. You're right, we have to tread carefully when you're dealing with the President of the United States. Having said that, I do believe that the questions which Rahul Gandhi has raised, as I said, are questions that also many foreign policy observers worryingly raise. There is nothing wrong in answering them in a transparent manner with mutual respect. My problem with all these debates that I've seen in the last couple of days that are taking, they are descending into name calling. I come back to JJ. If JJ is, you're calling the foreign minister or external affairs minister of this country Jaishankar, I think it is deeply unfortunate.
It is traitor Jaishankar.
This is exactly...
This is the mindset, Rajdeep, if I may. Jaishankar, Dr. S. Jaishankar is somebody who calls a spade a spade. He tells the Western countries to back off, not interfere in India's internal affairs. He tells them to look within. When their war is happening, they want to pontificate to us. Some of us are subservient to the West, some are not. So those who are subservient are unable to take an independent point of view.
But only with one limitation, Gaurav. I hope you'll agree that Dr. Jaishankar, like anyone else in public life, is not above scrutiny.
Sure.
You know, there has come a time when sometimes I feel Dr. Jaishankar is also getting trapped in his own image. You don't need to go into every interview in this combative mode and try and expose Western double standards or hypocrisy, because those Western countries will look after their own self-interest as they did post Pahalgam or during Operation Sindoor, and didn't give you the kind of full-throated backing that you wanted during Operation.
But
so I actually fear Dr. Jaishankar's strengths can also... my limited point is Dr. Jaishankar's strengths can also sometimes end up being his weaknesses, because then the Western countries tomorrow, when we really need them, will say, oh, you've gone on about our double standards, to hell with you, we'll do our own thing. Now, all I'm saying is he should also be willing to take questions, but I have a strong objection to using words like Jaichand for someone who has been in our foreign service for decades, has served this country very well in different positions, and it reveals, Akshita, the real problem of this debate now. This political consensus is breaking down in the last week because our politics between the top leaderships lacks mutual respect. In fact, they have contempt for each other. And if you have contempt for each other, how will you talk to each other? You will imagine you're talking at each other through Twitter. I mean, the world will laugh at us. This is not what Indian debate. We've got a parliament. All of this can be raised in parliament. Have a special session and discuss it. Have an all-party meeting. I think the Prime Minister should have been there at the all-party meeting. A lot of these issues could be settled behind closed doors. Why do Gaurav and I need to do this in public in the first place?
No, it's good. It's good that we're having this discourse.
Because we also do it in our news meetings. And if I may, only if in our country people would read a little more also about our civilizational history and culture. I for a moment want to take you back to Ramcharitmanas, about all this stuff what will the West say? The West will not back us. You know what Lakshmanji told Parshuram? After Sri Ram broke the Dhanush, he said, "Yahan kumbhad batiya ko nahi, je tarjani dekhi mar jahi." We are not going to wilt the moment somebody points a finger at us. We are a strong nation. We will not come under pressure. We don't care. Hang on. The West
I have a problem with this attitude.
No,
we don't care about the world. You've got to care. You are part of the global community.
Let Gaurav finish and then I'll give you a chance.
Permit me to finish my point. My point is, the West needs us, we need them, and there will be a mutual balance. Nobody is doing us a favor by supporting us. And similarly, we will look after our national interest. Our national interest is supreme. In the past, because of American interests in Afghanistan, we would compromise our war on Pakistan state-sponsored terror. You and I have covered that, Rajdeep, so many times. The West would say, "Arey, Pakistan se dosti kar lo, hamara cargo jana hai Afghanistan mein." We don't need to do that anymore. We will bomb Pakistan when we want to.
Okay,
if this is going to be the language, then why are we sending delegations across the world to non-permanent Security Council members, to permanent Security Council members? Because you need to win friends and influence people. Now, you can't do it by, constantly chest thumping and saying, look at how muscular we are bombing the shits out of Pakistan. That alone is not going to win you friends and allies. You're going to have to do this also through diplomacy.
Which is also
and has it worked so far?
Sorry?
Has it worked so far, our diplomacy?
Look, I think, I think we lost the narrative in the early days after Pahalgam. After Pahalgam, we had the moral high ground. We thought the world will stand by us as the victims of terror and Pakistan as the perpetrator. The world has other problems. Pakistan went and filled that vacuum by trying to completely twist the narrative in a manner which I thought was mendacious and unacceptable.
But you think they won the narrative war?
In those 15 days, Pakistan was able to tell its story or turn the story of Pahalgam in a manner that was unfortunately not responded to effectively enough by India. Post 7th, I think India realized, and post 10th in particular, once Donald Trump announced a ceasefire, India suddenly realized that, look, Pakistan or its supporters are trying to spin this narrative in a very different way. We need to go to the world. Why are we going? If we had won the diplomatic war, why have we sent so many delegations across the world? Because we've realized we've got to tell our story. We have a good story to tell on Pahalgam and Operation Sindoor.
We have a very good story.
We have
a very good story to tell.
We did tell it in the first 15 days.
No, it's not a 15-day story. It's a story from 1947.
Yes.
We've been bleeding at the hands of Pakistan. And if I may, Pakistan, if you think, had moral victory or,
No,
initially,
they didn't have a moral victory. I didn't use that word.
Whatever
I said they were able to twist the narrative in their favor.
They created a narrative of victimhood for themselves.
Moral victory, Mubarak or whatever Mubarak, India will win this war even on the narrative because we are on facts. They are on fake narrative. We are on facts.
No, so Gaurav, do you think, the same question that I asked Rajdeep, has our diplomacy worked? Have we got support on ground after Operation Sindoor? Did we get countries on board to come and say that, look, India has the right to go ahead with this kind of an operation?
Every country, Germany today, the United Kingdom the other day, I'll tell you what David Lammy has said, India has a right to proportionate defense. Germany today said we are appalled by the terrorist attack on Pahalgam. India has every right to defend itself and they're seeking bilateral resolution. So those who say India and Pakistan have been hyphenated, a victim of terror and a perpetrator of terror will never be hyphenated. Never, ever. It depends on how strong you are in putting your point across. And if I may, why are we sending delegations across? Because this is trench warfare. And in trench warfare, you have to battle for every inch of mind space and space on ground. And Rajdeep, that's exactly what India is doing. Despite those within, you're absolutely right. There is no Jaichand and that terminology is uncalled for. But you know why Shalyaraj was sent into Karn's camp? So that Shalyaraj could, get his morale down each time. Each time Karn tried to fight, Shalyaraj would get his morale down. We have many Shalyarajs amongst us. But they will not get India's morale down because we've done extremely well as a nation, diplomatically, economically, and militarily with those BrahMos supersonic cruise missiles slamming Pakistan. And the best part of it, Pakistan is dancing. So we can slam them and they can dance. It's good for us.
So militarily, yes. Diplomatically, Rajdeep, what do you want to say about what Gaurav says? He says that there are countries that have stood by us.
Look, I just feel that India has a great story to tell as a country that has suffered repeatedly at the hands of Pakistan-based terror. That story needs to be told strongly. That story needs to be told effectively, not just in TV studios to a domestic audience. It needs to be told to a global audience. We are in a global world. We are in a world with a new world order where there is not necessarily just one dominant power that can decide on the future of nations. We need to adjust to that world. If we claim, as the Prime Minister or people around in the government have called a Vishwa Guru, we need to do much more to improve our moral standing in the world. We need to take a stand, whether it's Russia, Ukraine, whether it's what's happened in Gaza. That's another issue. But broadly, I believe India needs to take stronger positions and make sure that those positions are reflected across the world. We cannot simply be sanguine in the belief that, okay, we've smashed Pakistan, the world knows Pakistan is a terror state. Yes, in my view, India's story is very different to Pakistan for one reason, Akshita. We are going to be the third largest economy in the world. Pakistan is a country that has gone on more than 24 occasions to the IMF 25 times for a bailout. So you've got a country which has got a great story, a great future to tell. Let's not allow our minds to get clogged all the time. Maine isko mara, maine ye kiya. That's not going to. India will build itself. Once you are the third largest economy in the world, as China has shown, the world will come to India. That's what I believe.
So
you don't have to worry about that. Focus on the economy. Don't get tied up in isne ye kiya, usne ye kaha.
You know, both of you mentioned IMF. Is also a sign of what we did diplomatically, you know, the fact that Pakistan still managed to get that bailout package. Is that a sign of our diplomacy?
There are so many conditions that have been put on that bailout, and we'll be tracking that. But if I may, historically, Rajdeep, permit me. Historically, India has always been economically very strong, but we were not militarily strong for centuries. And that is, no, hear me out. That is why foreign invaders conquered us. We became Soni ki chidiya and they plundered us. So while we need to be economically strong, and I completely agree, we have to be militarily super strong, and the world will listen to us. When Rajdeep says we have a new world order coming, of course it is. And we will play a very important role. The world will also adjust to us rising. Now, I have that belief. I have that belief. No, it is not. I am sorry. I'm stating facts.
No, let's not chest thump at all. We still have a long way to go. We still have a road to cross.
One at a time. Go ahead.
When we are becoming the third largest economy, it's a big statement. When we can fire supersonic cruise missiles at the adversary and get him to his knees and seek a ceasefire, it's a very significant point being made. And if I may, there's a very significant point being made to the other adversary about our capabilities. So let's be very clear about it. We don't have to plead with the world. We talk to the world. We look into their eye and talk. We don't talk down to them. We don't talk up to them. We talk to them as equals. The world will adjust to us in the times to come. It is adjusting.
Rajdeep, we keep saying that issues right now, like Kashmir, is bilateral between India and Pakistan. So should the issue of terror also be dealt bilaterally? You know, forget global isolation of Pakistan or any of that. That India hits out at Pakistan, teaches them a lesson.
Look,
does that work in a real world scenario?
Look, the truth of the matter is, so long as there is terror and violence, it will be very difficult to hold talks with a country that props up and sponsors terror. I agree entirely. At the same time, let's be very clear, Kashmir is a tough issue which we will continue to have to wrestle with. And we will have to get our domestic act in order, in particularly in the way, dare I say, in conclusion, the way we treat Indian Muslims. We need to show that we are a different state to what Pakistan is. Pakistan has become... There are enough examples where from time to time, please understand, in this war of narratives, you cannot take a single misstep. Which is why we must be very conscious to constantly show that we are a constitutionalist state where every citizen has equal rights, unlike in Pakistan. We need to emphasize that, not just in theory, but in practice, in the way we conduct our affairs, particularly when it deals with minorities.
The fact that Asaduddin Owaisi, such a strong critic of the government, came out with facts, it just goes on to show that apart from vested interests, Muslims are safest in India. All the 72
Asad Owaisi
factions
does not need a character certificate from the right wing.
Giving him one.
He was
Nobody's giving him one.
For the longest time, the same right wing was giving him character certificates.
Completely digressed.
Why shouldn't we give him character certificates? Who is Gaurav Sawant or anyone to give us
We've completely digressed. Rajdeep Gaurav, we've completely digressed. Please. No, please, you have to listen to me. One second,
He's leading
Gaurav, just hold on.
Where is that?
Gaurav, just hold on.
The other day he was not a patriot for you.
I never said that.
Rajdeep, one second.
You know, those are your
assumptions. Gaurav, just hold on, please. Gaurav, just hold on. Hold on, Gaurav, hold on. We've completely digressed. Ladies and gentlemen, we've completely digressed. But you've heard what you've had to. On questions over India's foreign policy, on questions of how really we handle diplomatically the Pahalgam terror attack, the aftermath, Operation Sindoor. We leave it for you, the viewer, to decide on really how India's handled it, whether the Modi government has done a good job or no. The politics, I'm sure, will continue through the weekend as well. Rajdeep, Gaurav, as always, thank you very much for joining us here on this edition of NewsTrack.
And many happy returns of the day, Rajdeep.
Thank
in
you.
Advance.
Happy birthday.
60 साल का हो गया और सटिया गया.
नहीं. आप हमेशा जवान रहेंगे और ऐसे ही स्ट्रांगली अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू रखते रहिए. यही हमारी डेमोक्रेसी की सबसे बड़ी शक्ति है. ये भारत की शक्ति है.
We'll sign off on NewsTrack with a very special birthday wish for Rajdeep.
Thank you, Akshata.
You are a beacon for Indian journalism and an inspiration for so many of us. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you both for
Good
joining.
night.